The Pfister Growler is officially here. Welcome to the Stockboy Gaming channel. We're gonna put it to the test. If you didn't see my last video, we took this thing to the LS Car Meet test track, along with some other stock cars, some modified cars, did some math, tried to figure out exactly how fast this car was gonna be on my technical racetrack, on my speedway, on my drag strip. We're gonna put that to the test, see how accurate it was, and I may be doing some more prediction videos. There's gonna be a lot of good stuff in here. Make sure you stick around to the end for the speed score, which is overall performance. All of these metrics put together in a Forza style score. 100 is the best. Every car is scaled down from number 1. Our first test is the drag strip. And the Calico GTF we know is very good when it comes to acceleration. So the Growler, I wasn't expecting to do great here. You can see the Calico GTF beats it to the 1/8 mile and the quarter mile there. We're going to the half mile here. Can the Growler catch up? It's not looking like it. Nope, all the way to the half mile, the Calico GTF has the edge, but we're gonna go to the standing mile because the Growler has surprising acceleration after that half mile marker. We'd expect this to mean that it has a pretty decent top speed. And if you see here, these cars actually tie to the standing mile line down to the 1,000th of a second. So first place for our acceleration portion of the test, the Calico GTF, shouldn't surprise anybody, but the Pfister Growler, it's got a 6-second 1/8 mile. That's really good, and its half mile is actually really, really good. So we've got some hope. I think the Growler might actually be a pretty decent competitor for the Calico GTF. In order to find out though, we gotta test some more. We're going to the Speedway. Which one of these cars is gonna get around the track quickest? And then we're gonna average out their times. That's not true. We're gonna take a look at their times, we're gonna do some math, and using those times, we will find their average speed over the course of the lap. So Calico GTF and Pfister Growler. Calico currently is the king of the speed score. Can the Growler make up some ground? We know the Calico won the acceleration test. The Growler is going to want to have something to say about that here, I have a feeling, when it comes to top speed. And as it crosses the line, let's take a look, see how fast these cars got around the track. First place is the Calico GTF, 129.5, that's a very good speed. The Pfister Growler, 127.4, that's not too bad, especially for the tuners class. So it's keeping up with the Calico so far. I think the Growler, if you watched my last video though, it handles very, very well. So this next test is going to be important. We're going to go check out lap times. If you're not familiar with my test track, it's a very technical custom raceway. The idea here is that it will kind of highlight weaknesses in cars. Well, the car on the left, the Calico, is very fast in a straight line, but it understeers a lot. The Growler is fairly quick in a straight line, but it handles really well. The Growler should be better here, and it's just barely first to that first gantry. So is the Calico going to keep up to the Growler? I consider the Calico the underdog in this test here. Calico's handling is absolute garbage. I don't like it. If you like it, you're lying to yourself. It's a fast car, but nobody likes understeer. What I'll say about the Growler, it's very, very difficult to drive fast, but as you can see here, it's much faster to that reverse start-finish line. The handling on this thing is really impressive. You're gonna have to learn how to control your throttle though, because it oversteers like crazy. And in a street race, that might hurt, but when you get used to it, it's actually not bad. We'll talk about street racing performance a little bit later. You can see here though, the Growler beats it by quite a bit at the test track. So the Calico GTF is last, the former fastest car in the tuner class around the test track. The Emperor Vector, 58.7, that was good. The Pfister Growler, 57.791. Absolutely blowing the tuner class out of the water at the test track. I'm really happy with that. And my prediction was that it would be 57.5. So we're pretty close. Now what we want to do, we want to see how's the tuner class now. Well, the Jester RR is now the third place car as far as speed score goes. The Calico GTF in second with a 90, which is very good, but the Pfister Growler is on top, 90.6. That is a really good speed score. The Vector is not on this list because it doesn't have the acceleration that the Growler has. So the Growler has a better acceleration and a much better lap time. Now I won't say the Growler is better than the Vector to race because the Growler is tricky, but it's not terrible. What I will say is, I told you so. This car is a lot faster than a lot of people gave it credit for. I'm going to continue doing some of these tests with the cars on the test track, starting with the Sultan RS Classic that we can now test on there. So keep an eye out for those videos. But now we need to figure out, can you street race this car? That's what it's for. That's what this tuner class does. Will it hang on one of these new street race circuits? Well, you'll see here, I raced a couple this morning trying to get a feel for the car, and the first race was an absolute disaster. I spun everywhere. Lift off oversteer and regular old oversteer. Hitting bumps is not very, bumps, what am I trying to say? Bumps are not very kind to this car. But once you get used to it, it's actually pretty good. And I was racing against somebody with a decent record with the Calico GTF. He beat me once. I beat him a couple of times. We entered a bigger lobby. I got the race win. It seems decent. It really does. It's really difficult to learn how to control the throttle in this game though if you're not familiar with it. So if you don't want to mess with that, if you don't want to mess with feathering the right trigger on whichever console you're playing on, it may not be the best choice for you. But if that sounds like fun, if you like a bit of a challenge, I think the Growler is actually a pretty respectable car. Obviously the Jester still has a higher top speed. The Calico can still accelerate a little bit better, but this thing has just enough acceleration to stay competitive. And in most of your races, you're going to be racing with catch-up on, so the top speed really isn't going to matter. Having the best handling car is a pretty big advantage. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your buddies if you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time.